What's going on, guys? My name is Elliot. Some of you might know me as Muselk, and today Samsung has asked me to give you some of my first impressions on the Galaxy S10. Now, I've had my hands on this thing for a few days now, and I gotta say, I got a lot of favorite features, but I'm gonna take the next couple of minutes to walk you through some of them and what my thoughts and opinions on them are after a couple of days of messing around with it. Now, obviously, first things first, for those of you who don't know, I'm mainly a gamer. I play a lot of video games, not only for fun in my spare time, but also literally as my job. So because of that, the S10 is honestly just fantastic because it means that, my favorite game of all, Fortnite, is something I can actually play on the go. When I'm not just buying things in the item shop, you can actually drop down and play full rounds and actually have an insanely good performance on a mobile device, which is absolutely crazy. And that is where one of the other great features of the S10 comes in, which is that battery life, which honestly comes in clutch so many times. I personally haven't charged this phone in 2 days now, which honestly I'm getting almost to the point where I'm going to need to. But that battery life just lasts so well, which for a heavy mobile device user like me, I'm always on Twitter or Instagram or messaging people or playing Fortnite. That is absolutely crucial. Now, obviously, my job pretty much completely revolves around either my phone or my computer. And when it comes to phones, probably the most important thing for me is cameras. And I almost didn't believe when I first saw the Galaxy S10 has 5 individual cameras on it. You got 3 on the back and you've also got 2 on the front. Now, what those different cameras can do is actually pretty impressive. Obviously, if you want to take selfie photos, or if you're like me and you accidentally open up your selfie camera every single time you open the camera app, those 2 front-facing cameras always are pretty good at making you look better than you normally would. But it's the 3 on the back which are the ones that I absolutely love. Now, obviously, just like with the S9, you've still got that slow-mo camera. This one, though, the technology on it seems to be a little bit more improved than before, because now it really is much more easy to use, I've found, at least in my little tests of throwing random things in front of the camera and capturing little slow-mo moments. But I think one of my favorite parts of the camera to fiddle around with so far has been Pro Mode. They've got a whole bunch of crazy customization options, 99% of which I have no idea how to use, and I probably end up making things look worse with. But a few of them are really helpful, at least for me so far, when I've been fiddling around with it, when it comes to taking those Instagram photos and other things just for my social channels, especially stuff like being able to lock the focus of the camera. Before, when you were trying to take like a very specific shot and the camera could occasionally shift in and out of focus, that was like a really frustrating thing to deal with. But now with locked focus, you can just keep the camera exactly at the distance where you need it, and it makes that thing a whole lot easier. Then obviously, with all the different photoshopping apps like Lightroom you can get on phones these days, you pretty much run your entire Instagram account just out of this thing. Now, on top of that pro camera feature, another one which I personally haven't exactly found a use for yet, but I've had an absolute blast showing off to friends and just kind of messing around with, is the super wide camera. On the back of the phone, you've actually got a camera that will go way wider than pretty much any camera I've seen on a phone so far, which I'm assuming if you're the more artsy kind of person, you're gonna be able to take some great cinematic Instagram photos with. I personally don't have the talent for that, but it is a great one to show off to friends. Now, one feature that I saw when they initially announced the Galaxy S10, which I was a little bit unsure how I was ever gonna use it, is the power share function, which basically lets you turn your phone into a wireless power charging station for, pretty much anything that's capable of charging wirelessly. Now, there are some great things that you can actually do with that off the bat, which are, for example, the new wireless Samsung earphones. You can actually use your phone to charge them if they run out of battery when you're out. I personally haven't got my hands on a pair of those yet, but I'm really hoping to, hint Samsung, because, well, it looks pretty damn useful to be able to do that. But I think by far the thing that surprised me most is how awesome it feels when I was out with a couple of friends the other day, and I had one of them suddenly say, "Damn, I need to call someone, but my phone's only got 2% battery left. And I could swoop in with the save, 80% battery left on my phone, change it into a power sharing station, and charge them back up till they had just enough that they could take their phone call. Not so much though that I'm ever gonna run out of battery, because I'm not that generous. Now obviously guys, I don't wanna make this thing too long, because I'm sure we've all got places to be, and you can probably see a lot more, much more qualified people than me talk about how amazing this phone really is. But a few other features, just quickly before I go, that I thought I would reel off is number one, the fingerprint scanner is now embedded inside the screen, which is absolutely incredible. No more trying to awkwardly reach your finger around the back to find the right button. No, this time now you just place your finger on the middle of the screen and bam, boom, your phone's unlocked. It's amazing. And finally, I think the most striking thing about the whole look of this phone, which I've loved more than anything, is just how the camera is now embedded in that notch up the top. Previous phones in the past, obviously having that kind of indent that gets cut out of the screen, but now having the cameras kind of actually embedded into the screen itself. I don't know, there's something about it which almost makes you not really notice that that part of the screen isn't there. Kind of like a consciously blocking out that space, and just your brain automatically fills it up with whatever else is around. But guys, they were my first impressions of the Galaxy S10. I can't wait to keep using this over the coming weeks. It's been so much fun over the past few days, and I gotta say, I think my favorite thing so far has definitely been coming in clutch to save friends' phones when they start running out of battery. But if you want to check out more about the Galaxy S10, I'm sure there will be some links right here. But for now, I'll see you guys around.